All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Trek Adventures Drake. This is our 8th session, and I'm glad to be back after being off for a few weeks due to internet problems, but knock on wood, we are going to be able to run the full session tonight. You may notice, based on a visual gag in the lower right portion of your screen, that Doc Early is not with us tonight. He is the actual player. Doc Nemesis is currently traveling and isn't able to join us. We're not actually going to try and kill him, but we'll just sort of see where the dice fall because the dice, as I like to say, the dice like to tell a story. But yeah, only other announcement I have is that Showa Station, the Star Trek Adventures game, set on a brand new station at the same time as the USS Drake. They are going to be starting next Monday, as well as internet and scheduling permits, kind of a thing. But anyway, if you want to check out Showa Station's opener, that's going to be Monday at 9 p.m., same time as this. And yeah, definitely invite you to come out and cheer those people on. But that's enough for me. Let's get my players introduce themselves. We'll run the intro video, and we'll get to the very, very important role involving a certain Dr. Early and Ensign Ricky. So yeah, Peter, what you got?
Hey everybody, I'm Peter or Petrus Aquinas on the interwebs, and I play Captain Thalen, the Xindi commanding officer of the Drake.
And you're a spy. What you got?
I'm your spy. I play the ship's very angry chief engineer, AC Chatham. If you're wondering why I'm angry, just watch last week's fun or what last session.
Then last but not least for tonight, Jeff.
I'm Jeff, also known as Sunbang. I play the stern XO Commander Tucker Cole.
Very nice. All right, let's run that intro video. All right, and welcome back. So, since this is a two-parter, I am going to have one of the players do an opening log, and I believe it goes to Commander Cole, if I remember correctly.
That it does. Executive Officer's Log Supplemental. We are knee-deep in a neutronic storm. Officially, it's day number 2, but it feels longer. Enterprise encountered one back in 2152, and we're using lessons they learned to prepare ourselves. I think that was just before Aunt Amanda was on the Enterprise when she and the Makos joined the ship. I'll have to ask her about that. Different than the Enterprise's adventure, though, we've encountered life forms similar to Terran fish species, only much larger, living in the storm. We had one that is similar to Siamese fighting fish break through the hull into one of our junior officers' quarters and was feeding on a power conduit. Chief Itolan Sharekros and crewman Donegal were injured when the door to the quarters was opened and they were exposed to the raw energies of the storm that entered the room through the breach. Lieutenant Commander Chatham soured the energy the fish was feeding on and it left on its own accord. Damage control teams were then able to seal the breach, but Chief Sharekros and crewman Donegan were then sent to sick bay recovering and should be fine. But then we had a second creature similar to a Terran remora, only the size of a small whale, attach itself over the bridge. The creature, with the Drake attached, was pulling us deeper into the storm, and calculations were showing that it would take us deeper into unknown space, up to 2 months away from Federation space at continuous high warp. In an attempt to dislodge the creature, we were sending a remotely operated shuttle with an energy source favorable to the fish to act as bait, while Lieutenant Commander Chatham sours the energy on the bridge, hoping to encourage the fish to go after a more favorable source, the shuttle. Ensign Ricky will be operating the shuttle. He's been working really hard on the simulator. I know he's had a hard time so far, from sending the shuttle, the captain tumbling powerless in front of the Drake, to his most recent misadventure when he tried to recover the remains of one of these metal fighting fish, only to crash the Drake into the remains and fly us directly into the storm. He can do this. I just don't know if he knows he can do this. And he realizes he can do it before I have to recommend to the captain that we ground Ricky permanently and reclassify him. Maybe a medic. He has good scores in that area. I'll have to talk to Doc Early about that. End log.
All right, I love it. So, as is alluded to, we sort of see a cinematic playback of last week's events to start us off, where we see the Drake sort of flying through the neutronic storm, that swirl of purples and whites and blacks. And we see underneath of the Drake, we see a remora-like creature that is attached right where the bridge is. And we see a shuttle pod leave the Drake's shuttle bay and begin to fly towards the remora. And then the shuttle pod buckles. It slams into the hull of the Drake, is turned into chunky bits, and is lost in the storm. But as the shuttle pod hits and turns into debris, we zoom in through the hull of the vessel to see that on the auxiliary control room that the players have set up, since they can't be on the bridge themselves, we see a console blowing out and Dr. Early becoming lethally injured by regulation rocks and regulation spark shooters that are in every Starfleet ship ever. But I believe where we left off specifically was Lieutenant Commander AC shouting for auxiliary control for medics to come running. And we're going to let that scene play out a little bit as you all deal with the fact that Doc Early is currently on the ground unconscious.
Okay.
Medical emergency, auxiliary control.
And you get a green light saying that medics are coming, and has been pointed out, Ricky is technically the most skilled medic besides Doc Early. So I think Ricky goes, coming?
Oh boy. Let's at least make sure that the doctor is laying down instead of twisted up against this console.
I'm going to assess the ship.
Yes, do that. Myself and one of the other ensigns on the bridge, we're going to lay out the doctor to make sure that when the medics get here, we're ready.
All right, well, AC, let's do you first because you want to check out the status of the ship. Go ahead and roll me a Insight Engineering difficulty of 1. And if you have anything related to starship construction,
Yes.
or I think you have a focus here.
Oh, yes.
Get you some momentum, and I do see that I already have a complication momentum from chat that has been factored in already. And look at that, you're capped on momentum. Very nice. So I would say good news, bad news, but there's not really any good news. It's more like neutral news, bad news. Bad news. You are technically considered to have 1 breach to structure. So that should be already noted on the Drake sheet. Of note, if for any reason you get to 3 or more structure, essentially you have to put in its space dock somewhere to repair the ship. As long as you are less than 3 structure breaches, you can repair it on your own with just time. But anything 3 or more, you gotta put in its space dock. I guess the neutral news is that the crash didn't really damage your defensive fields, so you still have protection from the neutronic storm.
Okay.
That's a plus.
I will deploy damage control teams.
That's right about then that Ensign Ricky comes running onto the auxiliary control room with a med kit in hand. He goes, okay, I'm here. Oh, no.
Yes,
That's
Ensign.
why.
It's the doctor.
Okay.
You can do this.
Okay. All right. Focus. I can do this.
Yes.
I feel great. I'm not going to crash Doc Hurley, like I did the shuttle. I can do this.
You got this, kid.
All right. So, we now need to have a very important role for Menson Ricky. Strange words that players fear.
Yeah. So what would you like?
So, this is going to be a difficulty 4 for Ensign Ricky.
Okay.
I believe he does have emergency medicine as a focus, if I'm remembering correctly.
He does.
This will be a daring medicine for him. So, again, power stats for Ricky. I believe we were discussing before stream that we were going to give Ricky a value for activating him a second time.
Yes.
What value are we giving him?
The value we chose was if at first you don't succeed. Since he just crashed the ship, we think that he is going to be particularly determined to succeed at not killing the doctor.
Fair assumption. All right, so as a reminder, if you spend determination before the roll, you get 2 free successes. If you spend it after the roll, you can re-roll as many dice as you wish. So just keep in mind there's pros and cons to both. You are capped on momentum, and I do have a complication in the wings, but I'm probably going to save that for later because I'm not in the habit of killing off player characters when they're not here. So, yeah, who wants to do the honors for Mr.
I've got him up. If
Okay.
everybody's okay with that.
Can I assist?
If you tell me how.
I mean, Thalen has had a little bit of medical experience, so he can at least, help point Ricky to, like, here's the injuries. Like, he's already done a basic assessment, sort of deal.
Why don't you give me a presence medicine on your part, Captain?
Okay.
All right. I would like to spend a determination to give Ricky 2 free successes.
Starting off with 2. All right.
That works.
And then how many dice do you want Ricky to roll?
All the dice.
Let's see. How many can we make him roll? We have full momentum. Let's see. We can spend 1 for 1.
Well, that's the thing is because you spent your determination, technically the cost changed because the determination die counts as a die already rolled a 1.
Okay.
So if you want to roll 3 dice, it would be 2 momentum. If you want to roll 4 dice, it would be 5 momentum.
How about 5 momentum?
Yeah, let's do it.
And yeah, just keep in mind that since Ricky has failed his fitness medicine, the complication range is 18 to 20. So I believe you put in a 3 for the complication range on the task.
He is using a focus. He's using a value. He is rolling 4 dice.
Okay, here's the
Okay,
captain's
no help from the
no help.
captain.
There's a surprise.
Okay, actually that's about what we were joking about off stream. That is a grand total of 6 successes with determination. Actually, no, it actually It actually encountered that one already.
Yeah.
So that's 4 successes.
But he did it.
He did it. Yeah, that's improvement. Good job, Ricky. So Ricky kind of doesn't ignore you, Captain, but he kind of looks at you at some point and goes, no offense, Captain, but for once I think I got this.
Okay.
And
all right. And I step back.
He is not the best surgeon in the world, but he at least shows far more competency with this than any other helm task you've ever given him. Where he's doing the proper thing, where he's putting Dr. Early in the support, or what is it, the recovery position. He's doing dermal regenerators. He basically gets Doc Early stable, and by the end of it, Dr. Ricky, God, that's going to be confusing. Dr. Ricky, quote unquote, kind of wipes his forehead and stands up and goes, "All right, I think we are out of the woods. He should be stable. However, I do think that we need to keep him under as long as possible, from what I remember from training. I don't know how long he should be out. We just kind of need to wait for him to wake up on his own accord."
Can we move him?
We can, but I wouldn't move him too far.
Should we strap him down in case something else happens and the ship shakes?
Probably a good idea, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go to a comm panel, press the button. Bridge to sickbay.
There's no reply because there's nobody in sickbay right now.
That's right, there's no one there. Okay. Let's see if I can get one of the other crew members down in that general area.
Mm-hmm.
Bridge to crew near sick bay. Any officer nearby.
And an ensign comes back and says, "Yes, sir. This is Lieutenant or Ensign Donald."
Ensign Donald, would you grab a medical gurney and bring it to the bridge? We need to.
The bridge or auxiliary control, sir?
I'm sorry, auxiliary control. We need to immobilize someone.
Be right there, sir.
Thank you, Ensign.
And so, as you wait for the gurney, Ricky kind of looks between Cole, AC, the captain, and goes, "So, sorry about the whole shuttle pod thing."
We're all still alive, kid. But you probably saved the doc's life.
Hey, small positives. Yay.
That's a very big positive, Ensign.
Keep an eye on him.
Sure. What are we gonna do about the fish? It's kind of still attached.
We're working on that. Right
Okay.
now, I think your top priority is probably taking care of the doctor.
Hold on, wait a second. Does this mean I'm technically acting CMO? Oh God, the power, the responsibility. I'm not ready for this.
That's why it's acting.
Okay.
Any large decisions, you can still refer to me.
Okay.
But for now, focus on the doctor. He's the one who needs your attention. Right now, I don't think there's any medical issues elsewhere on the ship. So,
And I think Ricky just sort of nods and monitors Dr. Early for the time being.
okay, good.
Okay.
So I kind of step away from Ricky, let him continue his ministrations to the doctor.
All right, sir. It's not good, but it's not as bad as it could be. We've still got shields, so we're protected from all of that out there. But we're a bit banged up. I've got damage control teams looking at it now. I get the feeling my next few days are going to be extremely busy.
Very likely. We took quite a hit. But it's also a rather large storm, so maybe not to this level, but it was to be expected. What do you think that our options are? I know that we spoke about ejecting the bridge, and we brought up the shuttle as another option to do that, but we no longer have viable shuttles, I don't think.
You have one remaining.
Right. Yeah, we have one.
Now, if we took that one shuttle out, it would still be within the shields of the Drake. How long would the pilot be able to stay out there with the storm?
I don't think the shuttle. I think we discovered
we were remote piloting the shuttle. I
right.
We're piloting from a simulator, which does make it a little bit more difficult.
Oh, look at that complication. You remember how, or maybe just as a reminder, you had to repair the simulator once already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's broken again. Apparently the force of the shuttlecraft flinging itself into the hull also caused the simulator to short circuit again.
Okay. Let me take a look at the simulator. I will
right.
assess its level of damage.
All right. Hopefully we can potentially use it. Commander Cole, as a backup, what's the range? Not the range. What's the firing arc on the phase cannons?
AC looking at the console just stops.
I know it's not ideal.
I didn't say anything, sir.
We might, depending where it is, we might be able to, if it's not in arc, have a crew take it off arc and reset it manually to a new arc and lock it in.
Okay.
And it's not so much the arc, but it would also be the depression angle of the weapons.
Yeah.
In fact, Commander Cole, why don't you give me a reason and a security here? Difficulty of 1. Get you guys some momentum, hopefully. If you have anything related to starship weapons, that would apply as a focus.
Oh, yes. We have 1. Yeah, I'll use old security.
Okay, so you're going to give me at least 1 threat.
We'll add. We'll just add the 1 die.
Okay, rolling 3.
And my complication range is a 3.
Yes, because you have
Yep.
failed once on your weathering the storm roll, so yes, your complication range is a 3.
3 dice.
All right, well, I mean, technically you could re-roll one of those if you wanted to crit fish, but that's 4 successes, getting you 3 momentum to bring you a total of 4.
Yeah, let's go ahead and leave it.
Okay. So yeah, what you just said, Cole, about having to manually adjust and retrim the cannon angle, it's not unlike an old cannon from Earth, where you gotta set up the firing arc, you gotta set up the angle right, and all the technical terms that I myself don't know, but basically it's like a battleship or a literal cannon that you have to sort of align, if you will. And that's good. That's at least a 2-person job.
And have we got any result? Was AC even able to begin the souring of the energy to the
Nah,
bridge?
we didn't even get to that, unfortunately.
Okay. Because part of the point, do we think that souring it, the energy would be enough?
What if we shoot it? If we make it so, if we take the power away and make it more unpleasant for it to be here, maybe it'll go away.
Exactly.
It's worth a shot.
There's a carrot and a stick. Then there's the carrot and the 2x4.
Yeah, just don't hit my ship with the 2x4.
Yep.
Yeah.
And somebody to help me.
Sorry,
and my
sir,
best gunner-
your ship.
It's your ship too.
And my best gunner is down in sick bay.
Yeah. Well, I would be willing to give you a hand there, Commander. It's not exactly my realm of expertise, but the ship needs saving, and I'll do what I can. There's not much I can do sitting in auxiliary control.
All right, we're gonna have to suit up.
And I can help with moving, but not with shooting.
So is there going to be any engineering that has to be done with it as well, or is this all just security related tasks?
I would
within
say,
our
for sake of
special-
argument, it's mostly going to be security related.
All right.
Now, I will tell you that if you also want to sour the milk at the same time,
I need to do that.
Yep.
yeah, that's something that AC would have to do. And just so that we're on the same page here, the act of refocusing the phase cannon's firing arc, that's going to be a fairly easy roll, all things considered, at least until I add on complications and threat and all that. You're looking at a difficulty of 3 on that. And you can either have an assist from AC, again, souring the milk, or you can have an assist from the ship on that one. But you can only have one source of an assist on this.
Okay, and that's the actual task to get the Remora dislodged.
Well, no, this is just to
Okay.
focus the
Yeah, this is prep
phase
to
cannons.
potentially get it.
Yeah, the actual act of firing the phase cannon is going to be difficult because of the neutronic storm. So it's kind of a back-to-back task thing here.
Roger. So it'll be difficulty 3 at first, and then
Probably a
Okay.
difficulty 3 or 4 for the actual firing,
All right.
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
And if I've never had 2 determinations
Yes.
before. So if I pop a determination and I use one of my values for that,
Mhm.
can I then use the same value to pop the other determination on the other roll?
Technically, yeah, you certainly can
Okay.
do so.
Well, so it's just the determination that's lost. You can still pop that same value again and again if you get
Yeah,
enough.
if you want, yeah.
Got it. All right. All right. Yeah, let's have AC sour the milk while we start getting that cannon realigned, sir.
All right,
All right.
let's do it.
So,
And
Commander
that'll be
Cole,
suiting up.
the act of refocusing the phase cannons, I think this could be one of many things, but I think the best roll is probably going to be a fitness security on your part. This would be a difficulty 3, but let me ask this. Are you doing it in an EV suit? Because technically you do have to be close to the hull in order to manually retrim.
How long can we be outside of EV suits?
Ricky reports, you got about 10 minutes at best, maybe.
It would take longer to do that to get everything lined up and then get the shot off.
Yeah.
So no EV suit then.
Nah, we're going with the EV suit.
Okay. Because what I'm going to say is the EV suit is a little bit cumbersome, so it will now make your complication range 17 to 20. But it's still just a difficulty 3, and you've already got 2 successes. So you would put in 4 for complication range when it asks.
Okay. And that was fitness security. And we will...
I think technically this counts as starship weapons, so you would have a focus as well.
Yeah, there you
go. Trying to see if I want to... Because it'll be 2 for another dice.
So, since I'm helping, do I roll an assist on this one, or am I just there counting as the 2 people?
I think you're there counting as the 2 people.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and burn 2 momentum for that 3rd die.
Okay.
Oops. Not complication range 33, complication range 3. And we are off.
Okay, well, this is interesting. So you succeed, but there's a complication. So you get 1 momentum back, which means I believe you are at 3 overall. Oh, hey, look at that. You know what? I'm gonna bank that complication the chat just gave me. But yeah. So here's what's gonna happen, Cole. You and the captain working together are able to refocus the phase cannons. However, in the process, the complication is going to be that something in the manual mechanism breaks, and until you actually spend time to fix it, the phase cannons can only fire under and behind the ship. They cannot fire forward or to the sides.
Ouch. Okay, let me mark that down on the damage report.
Mm-hmm.
So phase cannons can only fire to the side and to
the rear, to the stern.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're eyeballing it, and you're pretty sure you're lined up. You just got to take the shot.
All right.
All right, let's check on Commander AC, see if he's got the milk soured a little bit, see to make this a little bit more of a push.
Ready to go on your mark, sir.
All right. Prepared, Commander Cole?
Ready.
What role are you looking for?
Oh, someone's getting a hail.
Yeah.
So for UAC, since you're going to be... Well, I'll let you guys figure this out, how you want to do this. If AC, the main thing is going to be souring the milk, then AC is going to be rolling a daring engineering difficulty of 4. And Cole would assist with his control and security to fire the cannons at the same time. Alternatively, Cole could do a control security difficulty of 3 and be assisted by AC's daring engineering. There's also the possibility that you could just do this by yourselves, quote unquote, where it's either AC or Cole plus the ship instead.
I'm an 11 and a 5 on control and security with a focus and a determination.
I'm a 12-5 for this. for my bit. Let's see what the ship would be.
Yeah, the ship, depending on which one of you is taking the lead here, if it is the ship, it would be a engines and engineering. If it was the actual shooting, it would be a weapons and security. So I think technically the same role, all things considered. Yeah, it's the exact same role, all things considered.
Yeah.
And do you have a determination to pop, or?
I do not, because I got us momentum last game.
All right, I'll go ahead and I'll take the lead on it with you as the assist.
All right, so what do you want me as the assist check? What do you want for my check for this?
Daring engineering.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And for that extra determination, since I have veteran, would that apply to get the second
Oh
determination?
yeah, it applies whenever you spend.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll that challenge die. Maybe you'll get your second point back.
That'd be nice.
I mean, one can hope anyway. There you go. You get it back. Look at that.
Back. And guess what one I'm popping?
Yeah. All right. So starting off with 2 free successes, you are set up to succeed.
Okay. And we'll burn 2 momentum for that third dice.
Okay.
And then, let's see. Oh, complication range is still 3.
All right. Well, that's already 5 successes. So since you're assisting, we're going to take that 8, not the 20. So you're good.
Yeah, that's. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Good.
you're good. So that is a total of 6 successes, getting you 3 momentum back, bringing you up to 4. And yeah, Commander Cole, you are going to hit the fish, and we'll narrate that in a moment, but we need to now talk damage to the fish. The phase... Oh, hey, you even get your determination back again. Very nice. So the phase cannons on the Drake do 8 challenge dice worth of damage, so go ahead and either click the weapons on the sheet or just roll me 8 challenge dice, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, I'm doing it on the sheet this time. So weapons, trace cannons. See if I get this. If I do it right.
Let's see. If you click it, it should just do the roll for you.
Yeah, click the delta.
You gotta click the comm badge is what it is.
Yeah, it's not.
All right, here. Let me see if I can push it. Oh, you know what? Let me check permissions on this since it has been a while.
Oh.
Maybe I.
Yep.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. So yeah, that is a total of 8 successes. So I think that is going to be the complication. I think that is going to be the Yeah. So Cole, I'd like you to narrate how the shot goes, and AC can chip in with how he sours the milk. However, I do want to make it very clear that whatever you do, the fish is going to be dead by the end of it. So how would you like to flavor things?
Stitch it from tip to tail. And just run it right down, and I guess just low enough where it will strongly encourage it to separate. Let's say we have the sucker still stuck to the transparent aluminum of the bridge.
Okay.
But with an extra little porthole going through.
It
Like
was-
too graphic.
I was going to say it was probably starting to disconnect a little bit, which is why it actually, when it died, came free of the hull rather than just staying there.
And yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen is, it does start to detach, you pierce through it, and then part of it remains behind, but the other half just sort of falls off into the storm and is blown away. But the good news is that you are no longer being sailed.
Dragged.
Yeah.
And the bad news?
I mean, the bad news is you just probably killed an intelligent creature, which might have moral implications, but that's your call, not mine.
Oh no.
Sir, I'm showing damage to the traversal mechanisms on our phase cannons.
Yeah, that was some bad news I didn't want to tell you about right away. We're going to need to spend some time getting these back online. From what I can tell, we can only shoot kind of in the same trajectory we're at now, either to the rear of the ship or under the ship. But good news is we now have some extra time to work on it before we're back in Federation space.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Another chance to excel.
The only easy day was yesterday, sir.
That's it.
Yep.
Ricky, how's the doc?
Still out, sir. Though I think I could probably move him to sickbay at this point. I think he's stable enough.
If you think he's stable enough, then I would prefer that he be in sickbay, where we can have all of the devices being able to monitor him.
Okay, I'll take him to sickbay. And
Thank you.
takes the gurney.
Keep us posted.
Will do.
We need to get back to auxiliary bridge, sir.
Right.
So that is going to be the end of day 2. So now we're going to day 3. Now, as a reminder, each of you needs to pass a fitness medicine, now at a difficulty of 2. And if you fail, then there are complications, literally, to your performance. So you have 5 momentum at the moment. I would recommend you guys coordinating so that you don't use it all and that people who need it can use it. But again, it is a fitness medicine difficulty 2 that I need to see from each of you on this.
Yeah, let's do this in descending order of competence.
Okay. My fitness is an 8. My medicine is a 2.
My fitness is a 7, and my medicine is 1.
Nice.
So I guess I should go first.
And I'm a 10 and 1.
A 10 and 1?
Probably gonna be Cole then.
Yeah.
Yeah, XO.
I will pop a determination using respect must be earned and try to gut this out.
Okay.
We'll
So
just
start
roll.
you with 2 free successes, and all you have to do now is not roll complications. Hey, look at that. You actually get a momentum back for your troubles. There you go. Also remember, roll veteran. You have been rolling hot on veteran.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Okay, so
Oh.
finally you're down to just the 1
The streak
determination.
ends.
All right. So yeah, Commander Cole, you're doing just fine. I mean, you're still feeling the complication effects that you failed the first time, but you weathered day 3 just fine. No ill effects. Captain, I believe you're up next.
Yep. I'm going to use... It's a difficulty 2?
Difficulty 2. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to use a momentum
Okay.
to get 1 more die. Oh, would you look at that?
Oh.
That's
right.
that is significant actually. You are not only capped, but you have 1 floating momentum. So, would you like to use that floating momentum for anything in particular? As a reminder, you can create an advantage by spending
Yeah, I
a
was about
total
to
of 2
say.
momentum.
Yeah, I was about to say we could create an advantage.
Did you make some very good coffee today, sir? Culinary experiment.
A new culinary experiment. Yeah.
Slime from the Remora coated the hull and helps give us extra protection against the
I
storm.
like that idea. Let's say that something from the Remora's explosion helped coat the hull in a way that has prevented some more of the radiation going through.
Okay, I'll make a note of that.
Something else for AC to clean up.
I mean, we'll just stop by Showa Station. That's the first thing they're gonna have to deal with. It's all the crap on the hull.
Okay. I would like to spend 3 momentum for 2 extra dice because I have a lot of repairs to do.
Sorry.
I mean, surely you
it's
can't
fine.
pull a Ricky, right? I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, thanks. Now I am completely jinxed.
It'll be fine. Narrator, it wasn't. Okay, so, all right. So
Well, it is,
you did-
but
You did succeed, but there is a but. So, I think the complication is going to be that you're not going to get an actual complication range increase, but I will say that your favorite tricorder is burnt out from overuse. So you kind of lose one of your special equipments. Now, of course, you can requisition another engineering tricorder very easily, but this was your special one.
That is
So yes,
unfortunate.
I shall be grumpy today.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
So I go to the simulator and start. Well, actually, I go to weapons control, try and look at that, take out my tricorder, and nothing happens.
doesn't even beep at you. It doesn't even turn on. It's just there.
Go back to my cabin, put it down. Go to engineering, get another one. Grumble and stomp the whole way, as long as there's no crew to see.
Well, remember, it is kind of cramped quarters because you are staying away from the hull, so you at least run into a few crewmen who very smartly get out of your way.
Oh well, I mean, he's not going. I'm not going to grumble and stomp when they can see me. I will just move purposefully, as it were.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well,
Okay.
if you're going to repair the weapons first, or attempt to repair the weapons, probably going to be a control and engineering difficulty of 2 on this one.
I'll just roll it.
Okay. And survey says
I have a tricorder and an engineering toolkit. Do those help?
Let's keep it at a 2 for this one.
All right. Power systems work for now. Starship design for maybe.
I give you starship design, sure.
All right. Using focus for advice. 2
There you go,
successes.
2 successes. So what I would say is that you are able to basically fix the damage to the phase cannons that was done by realigning them. But you do want to note that you really don't want to try and shoot to the rear because you fear if you do so again, the phase cannons might snap
They'll
off. Yeah, or they lock, or basically until you're able to get out there on the hull and inspect the assembly, you want to be very careful in the arcs you fire in.
Right. Okay. Now it's time for me to check in with the damage control teams and see what I can do to work on the ship's structural integrity.
Hooray.
So while you're doing that, AC, let's check in with the captain and the commander. What are you two doing?
I'm going to go by sick bay and check on the 2 crewmen and Doc Early, see how Ricky's holding up.
Let's say 2 injured crewmen. Somebody roll me 2 challenge dice for me. And this will represent how well your security personnel have healed in the past few days. Look at that. Very nice. So yeah, Commander Cole, you walk into sickbay almost as your 2 security personnel are walking out. And they kind of bump into you and go, "Oh, Commander, sir. Hello. We were just leaving sickbay."
I'm just coming down to check on y'all.
Well, yeah, I mean, acting CMO Ricky's been doing a bang-up job. He supposedly told us that we were fit for duty again.
You see a very worried look of concern come across Cole's face for the briefest instant of, I'm sure he knows exactly what he's talking about. Let me go talk to Ricky real quick, and can you just wait in the hallway for me for just a minute?
Of course, sir. Yes.
I need to talk to you on something else, Chief. All right. I'm glad to see you guys are up and about. Good.
Thank you, sir. Good to be back.
It goes, see Ricky.
Yeah. And Ricky is sitting in Dr. Early's chair, who I'm sure will love that fact. And Dr. Early himself is still just out on a bio bed.
So Doc is still out?
Yep. He is, sir. I think he's probably going to be out for maybe a week, maybe.
Okay. Well, so my 2 security crewmen, they're cleared for duty?
Yeah, I mean, it was really easy fixing them. I don't know why Dr. Early didn't do it sooner, but I mean, all they really needed was their bones reset and a little bit of a radiation treatment, and then they were good to go.
Yeah, I was worried about, but medicine's not my strong suit. But Good. Thought they were going to be down a lot longer because definitely could have used one of them earlier.
Oh, well, if it matters, I did keep notes on what I did, and he holds up a very full pad and says, I don't know, I just kind of tried something I did during a chemistry experiment at the academy.
You experimented on them?
Um, I guess that's one way of putting it. But the good news is it worked.
Okay. Don't experiment on anybody without the captain's, not even mine, the captain's approval in the future.
Okay, sir. Maybe
But
I'll admit it. I kind of got a little involved in my work. I wanted to
which
do
is
good.
good, and you're doing good. Just don't be overly enthusiasm is good, but make sure you temper it with reason.
I could do that, sir. Though I um I need something to call this new drug I've whipped up. I was thinking of naming it Hyronolin, maybe.
Why Hyronolin?
Uh, well, I mean, it was kind of an inside joke. We used to call the. It's a long story, sir. It involves a professor at the academy.
Then I probably give my support behind such a name. Um, no more tests without the captain's knowledge,
Okay, sir. I promise.
because ultimately it's his butt that's on the line if something goes down.
Okay,
All right,
I can do that, sir.
but so what does this drug do?
Well, I mean, it's meant to counter the effects of radiation poisoning. It's meant to be like way more effective than adrenaline would be, because in Earth's past we used to use adrenaline a lot, especially on nuke subs that would produce bad radiation if they weren't properly shielded. So I just again it was an idea I had during a chemistry experiment, and I just kind of I took that to practice, and now we have this sort of new drug, which that's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about this.
Did Chief know that you used an experimental drug on her?
No.
Know that she's Andorian, right? Andorian, right?
Well, the good news is I think it's actually good for most Federation species. I think we're good.
Yeah, but now you have a healthy Andorian who might not be appreciative she was a guinea pig.
Are you gonna tell her?
Do you think she has a right to know?
I need to get an Ushan Tor, don't I?
I'll, if it comes to it, I'll help you out. But if worse comes to worse, I can talk her down. But lesson learned.
Yeah.
There's, just a little bit I know about the medicine. There's strict protocols on that type of stuff. But you got something promising there.
Yeah. Okay.
But good job.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I'll step out into the hallway and says, Chief, are you guys sure you're feeling okay?
Yeah, I feel great, sir. It's really weird. Like I was, I felt like my skin was tingling, and that it just kind of had that deep ache, and then Doc, oh god, that's weird to say. Ricky just basically gave us a drug and said this should help. I don't know what the drug was, but it's doing wonders. I feel great. I feel amazing.
Good. I'm gonna check on you every day for about the next week, just to see how things are going. The drug that I guess in his enthusiasm, I kind of position myself to be in front of the door,
Mm-hmm.
is not an approved drug.
Certain Andorian goes for her waist, where her Ushan Tor is always stationed. He says, "What do you mean by that, sir? Were we guinea pigs?"
Yeah.
All right, Commander Cole, I need a presence medicine, or not a presence medicine, a presence command difficulty of 3 in order to prevent your security officer from needing intervention.
Oh boy.
And if you have anything related to team dynamics, leadership, persuasion, all would be good focuses here.
Negotiation, diplomacy.
That would count, yes. And you do have 2 momentum if you wish to use it.
And I will use one of those.
All right.
Oh, and you said it would help if I picked the right doggone thing.
I would say either presence command or presence security. Either would do fine here.
Yeah, presence medicine would not be good.
Yeah, probably not.
And the complication range still the same?
Yep, still the same for you, at least for the time being. All right, there you go. You get the 3 successes you need. So yeah, your careful positioning and general demeanor, the good Andorian officer sort of backs off and says, well, I'm not exactly thrilled about that, sir, but I can't argue with the results.
I will set up something once we get out of this storm, a sparring session with you and Mr. Ricky for a lesson in consent.
Oh. Wait, are you saying I get to beat him up for free?
It's training.
As the Andorian cracks a smile, and there's just that almost unsaid laughter. Well, let's check in on the captain. So, Captain, what are you doing during all of Day 3's activities?
Well, I am probably in a science lab with Zygen, trying to, 1, figure out what we need to do to course correct, and also based on what we've gleaned from the Remora and the other things of potentially ways to improve the ship's radiation deterrence, and maybe if we got any leftover bits to try to find a way to make ourselves less desirable.
Okay. So I would say that it takes a day to do one of those things. So which one do you want to focus on first?
I'm going to focus on making sure that the crew has less radiation.
It's radiation. All right. So why don't you go ahead and roll me either a reason or an insight plus science, maybe even an insight or reason plus medicine, depending which way you want to go. And if someone could get Zygen's sheet, she's definitely going to be assisting with an insight science on her part. I'm going to set the difficulty at a 3 here.
Ooh, okay.
And I do believe you are at 1 momentum at the moment.
Yes, I think so. Darn, I don't think I have anything in my focuses that help. Nope. Because I don't think composure matters here.
Nah, not going to help you here, unfortunately.
Okay, I would like to use a momentum to add an extra die,
All right.
just in case. Okay, here goes nothing. Nope. Oh.
You do know you're rolling for yourself, not Ricky, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
Evidently, it's been a while since Thalen has spent a decent amount of time in a science lab.
Yeah. Now, if it was 1 complication, I could do something funny, but that's 2 complications, and I have another complication still saved from chat. So here's what's going to happen.
Do I blow up a console in my own
The
face?
science lab explodes.
Yes, the science lab explodes, actually. I like that. So roll. Okay, so Captain, you roll a challenge dice. If you roll an effect, you're affected by the explosion. If someone could roll a challenge dice for Zygen, we do not want to see effects here.
Okay, where's the control? Where's the macro to run a...
Okay.
Zygen is
like
okay.
Zygen's fine.
Which is the one to roll the challenge?
Perform challenge.
Oh, right. Okay. Number of dice 1. Well,
Medical emergency.
Good news is Ricky's doing really well.
So,
boy.
Commander
New
Cole,
drug.
Commander Cole, you're down there in sickbay, still talking with your officers. AC, you're looking with your damage controls teams. The ship rocks, and there's that muffled sound of another explosion, of maybe an implosion, and then the ship goes to red alert again, and you all hear Zygen over the emergency broadcast say, medics to Science Lab 2, what's left of it. And Commander Cole, you see Ricky kind of jump up out of the chair, grab a medkit, and try to move past you.
I step out of his way and I immediately follow.
What do you do, AC? Do you go to inspect the damage yourself, or do you just kind of fume in anger?
No, I damage control to Science Lab 2. I check. I look at the console I'm at to find out if the ship is in danger, and if the ship is not actively in danger, I will run to the Science Lab.
Yeah, the good news is that the Science Lab was internal, so you're not actually exposed to anywhere, any space outside.
I was just getting ready to ask.
Yeah. So, AC, Cole, Ricky, all three of you run. You see the captain just on the floor, out. Zygen is doing her best to kind of make sure that he's lying still. And Ricky immediately gets down on one knee and starts scanning. The captain goes, "Oh, okay. What were you doing, Captain? Captain, are you still with us? Can you hear me, Captain?" And he kind of snaps his fingers, tries to get you to respond to motion and light.
Am I conscious?
Barely.
The scanning for radiation.
No offense, sir, but scanning wouldn't have caused an implosion like that. And he points at the ruined remains of Science Lab 2.
I think I may have tried to implement a overpowered sensor circuit into a previously damaged optical pathway.
I'm sure the Lieutenant Commander can probably yell at you about that later, but let me see if I can fix you up. And someone wants to roll for Ricky. This is going to be a control and medicine.
I'm not touching it.
Control and medicine difficulty of 1.
Okay. To give us some momentum, he is determined to not fail the captain.
We already used determination, so.
Oh, okay. Can only be 1. Okay.
Now you could give me threat. Giving me threat is an option.
I will give you a threat for 1 die.
All right. Rolling 3 dice total for Mr. Ricky. Let's see how he does.
He is using a focus.
Okay, you actually get that momentum. Very nice. So yeah, Captain, you're not lethally injured. You know, Ricky does his best to sort of get you through the concussion, get you through the pain, and you're starting to come back to yourself now, Captain.
Okay.
And there is good news too, sir, if you've been exposed to radiation. I hear there's a hot new drug on the market.
Is there?
And we need to talk about that later.
Really? Thank you, Ensign.
You're welcome. How many fingers am I holding up?
4?
I guess if we don't count the thumb as a finger, yes.
Excellent. I have a concussion.
I don't know what specifically this drug does, but it's in Dr. Early's repertoire that I'm supposed to use it for concussions, so you'd have to ask Early what it is. I don't know what it is specifically. And he holds up like one of those vials that you would put into like a hypospray, and it's just blue, and he says it's blue.
Well, if the doc says it's okay.
Does blue mean it's for Andorians only?
Oh dear. Captain, are you feeling any urge to go and dance on the ice plains of Andoria?
No?
Okay, then I think we're good.
I step past them and just look into the wreckage of the science lab and then key the door panel and lock it.
So it's one of those things, as we're going to go to break here, it's one of those things where the door gets to almost closing, but then like half the door stops, and then it starts doing that like twitching thing where it just kind of bounces back and forth, never truly shutting.
We got to look to so hopefully the damage control party has gotten here by now, and I look to the beefiest ones and just gesture at the door.
And as the beefy engineers get to actually sealing the door, that's where we're going to take our 5 to 10 minute break. We'll be back shortly, everybody. Stick around. All right, welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of Session 8 of Star Trek Drake. If you're just joining us, well, the players have been able to dislodge the space remora from the hull. They have managed to surprisingly invent a actual in-canon drug that treats radiation poisoning. And, well, the captain blew up a science lab, so that's fun. But ultimately, they are still within the neutronic storm, and it's going to be probably about 2 to 3 more days before you start to get out of the storm itself. So we're going to go to day 4, and we're going to, again, kind of go around and see what everybody's doing. But what I will say as part of my complication, since I have 2 saved up, you all are going to automatically fail your next fitness medicine check. So Captain and AC, your complication range is now an 18 to 20. Cole, yours is now a 17 to 20. And what that means thematically or in character for you all, I leave to your discretion. But it's one of those things where your body is just feeling something similar to seasickness, something similar to exhaustion, and even a little bit of irritation, since you are, again, sort of in cramped quarters at the moment.
And seeing as my bunkmate is Ensign Ricky, how is he holding up?
Actually, really well. He actually seems a little bit too chipper, all things considered. Maybe that's why you're annoyed with him, is that he's a little too happy.
So, Ensign, have you been using that new drug on yourself?
Well, I thought it was only fair that I also be a guinea pig.
Okay. Because now I'm feeling what you were feeling early on.
Oh. Do you want some hyronolin?
And I haven't checked in with Chief. I've only given the captain a brief heads up about it, and before we do it to anybody else, even myself, you gotta make sure the captain has the okay on it.
Okay.
Because you saw what happened when he was up there with Zijin in the science lab. He was almost out for the count, but good job on getting him back up. But if he's out, I need to be up and ready. So, let me get back to talk to him, and I'll get back to you.
Okay. All right. And I think the way we'll facilitate that is the 3 of you are going to just join up in auxiliary control as kind of your daily stand-up, as it were. And this is your chance to not only talk about the drug, but report any incidents or any other problems that have arisen in the past day.
So, Captain, good news, bad news.
Okay.
Great way to start off any meeting. Good news is Ensign Ricky might have found an improved way to handle radiation sickness and help combat the effects that members of the crew are feeling. To include myself, it's starting to hit me now as well, at least where I'm noticeably feeling it.
That seems to be very helpful.
The bad news is it's an unapproved drug.
So did Ensign Ricky find a experimental drug that Dr. Early was working on and then decided to implement it?
This is something he's come up with on his own. Something about a
interesting
science experiment that he was doing back at the academy, and
Seems our ensign has an aptitude for medicine.
it's looking that way. He's already used it on 3 people, 3 members of the crew.
And no one's dead.
Not yet. One of them being himself.
Hmm.
And on the 2 crewmen that were injured by that one fighting fish early on.
Interesting.
Chief Rekros and crewman Donegal, and they're doing great.
So they're no longer suffering from the radiation.
Nope, I'm checking in with them every day just for me, but I'm not that great on medicine's not my strong suit by a long shot. But I'm just kind of keeping an eye on them. I can at least tell when someone's fit for duty.
Okay.
But Ricky does seem especially chipper, so that could be a side effect. Don't know yet.
Well, chipper isn't necessarily a bad side effect, especially since we're all in cramped quarters and
It is when he's your roommate.
tempers are getting short. Oh, yeah. Okay. Apologies.
But so it's just something to keep in your mind. But I mean, as a last resort, is something that we have. But he's only, it's not approved. Starfleet doesn't know anything about it, and nobody outside of him knows what's been used to put. He has no peer trials or
Okay.
anybody to review his work.
I would definitely feel better about it if Dr. Early was able to review it, but seeing as that's
Agreed.
not the case, let's observe for at least another day, I think. And then for those who are experiencing the worst symptoms, let's give them a dose and see if that improves them.
Yeah, I think as long as they know that they're testing an experimental drug, that'll.
Yes, I don't want to force anyone to do it, and I don't want to give it to the entire crew yet, as we don't want to potentially incapacitate the entire crew if it has adverse side effects after the point where we are. Yes, but that is promising. I will definitely keep that in mind, and I'll make a note to add that to my report to Starfleet. Maybe put him in for a commendation for original thinking.
It would definitely be worth for him. He's done good.
Yeah. Commander AC, any news? I know that I didn't help with any of the repairs.
Sir, we're just gonna leave. We're just gonna let that one lie for now. We'll fix it later.
Yeah, it's not really terribly important at the moment.
We should have our phase cannons. Our shields are still operational. Most systems are working fine. We've patched up the hull, or we're patching up the hull and the structural integrity system. We're patching up our structural integrity. I'm sorry, sir. It's been a long.
Oh, I feel you. I understand that.
I'll know more about the structural integrity later today.
Excellent. Lieutenant Zygen.
Sir.
I know that it was not the best moment, and I apologize for that, but were you able to, after the incident, able to get any further progress on either our course or the some of the radiation dampening that we were researching? I know some of that's probably completely shot, but...
Well, I actually have good news on that front, sir.
Oh, really?
I've been able to use our sensors to determine that there is a way to exit the storm earlier than expected. We could be out by tomorrow afternoon. There's just one problem, sir. And she goes over to her console to pull up like a visual. And what you see on the screen is kind of an icon of the Drake and then a charted path through the storm. And you see that it goes to like the nearest storm edge. But between the Drake and the storm edge, there is a multitude of what looked to be rocks or mines or something that would have to be destroyed in order for you to fly out that way. And she explains, there's quite a bit of debris cut up in the storm. It's something where we would have to rely on Commander Cole and the other security officers to shoot the debris down. But if we weren't adverse to potentially having more hull breaches, we could be out, as I said, by tomorrow afternoon. It would be a lot of fancy flying and it would be a lot of fancy shooting, but I don't know if we really want to spend too much longer in here, sir.
Seeing as what we've been through, I would tend to agree with you, Lieutenant. Commander AC.
Yes, sir.
What do you think of this plan? This will probably put the most strain on you and your department.
I think we can probably handle it, sir.
Okay. We can potentially pull crewmen from other departments to aid with structural repairs. I know that most lower officers and enlisted have, at least basic starship repair as a requirement.
She's not going to fall apart on us immediately, sir.
All right. She is new.
We do run into the issue of helmsman.
Yes.
I can't tech and fly, sir.
We need you repairing. I'm sure that we'll need that more. If anything goes wrong, we're getting a hull breach. We don't need that.
Now, we do have other members on the shift, but Ricky was our more experienced pilot.
Zaijin sort of points to you, Commander Cole, and says, yes, sir, that's what I was about to point out, is that if we don't have any more injuries, technically we could let Ricky fly the ship? That's a terrible thing for me to say. Why am I saying this?
Sirs, isn't there some regulation indicating that we have to have a medical department?
Yes, I believe there is a regulation that we must have a functioning medical department. So in that particular instance, I would say we need to leave Ricky where he is. Because if anything goes medically wrong with, for instance, Ricky, then we are out basically all of our medical support staff and you're left with me. And
I'd prefer to not blow up, sir.
Emergency medicine is about as far as I got.
I can pass out Band-Aids and that's it.
I would find a way to paper cut myself on the Band-Aid.
Like I said, you'd be stuck with me, and we don't want that.
Zaijin just kind of looks at you, Captain, and says, so, okay, hold on. If AC is going to be fixing the ship and Cole and his people are going to be shooting, doesn't that mean you have to be the one flying, sir?
I suppose it does, unless we have another pilot on the ship.
Add a character you would, but I don't have a sheet for them, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
So we'll just say that maybe he's really feeling the effects of the storm at this
suffering
point.
Radiation poisoning, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I guess that would be... that would fall to me. Not exactly the best.
Now, I could fly it, but I don't. I'm good in shuttles, decent in shuttles. Don't really have much larger ship experience.
I have piloted a few ships, some larger, not quite this large. I believe the last time I piloted was an NX class, and it was just to, move it from one berth to another. That was a while ago.
At least you didn't hit the station, sir.
I did not hit the station. So there's that. I suppose that I should probably... Well, actually, Commander AC, is the simulator fixed at all?
I can do that, sir. Give me a minute.
Not a priority, but I was just thinking if we're going to try this, then it might not be a bad idea for me to try to brush up a little bit.
I'll take a look at it, sir. If it's something easy, I can knock out myself.
If it's
I'll
easy.
take care of it.
Only if it's easy. We have lots of other things going wrong. Okay. And Zygen, I assume you would be feeding course correction information to whoever is piloting, which I
That
suppose
and
would be me.
targeting for the security personnel, yes.
All right. Okay, that seems like our best course of action at this point. I don't want us to stay in this storm any longer than we have to. Because it seems to be having an increasingly detrimental effect on both the crew and equipment. So, all right. Are there any questions?
Zygen raises her hand.
Yes, Lieutenant.
I know we kind of just had the discussion about not giving out this new untested drug, but if it's working so well for 3 people so far, wouldn't it be better to have everybody take it so that we're at least feeling good enough to do what we need to do here?
How long would it take us to get to the nearest starbase after we get out of the storm?
Hard to say, sir, until we're out of the storm and I can stellar navigate, but
Best guess.
month and a half, 2 months at high warp.
Okay. Let's do most of the crew then. Let's leave a few just in case.
Okay.
Who can at least do basic starship functions after we get out of the storm, in case we're all, incapacitated. So we need everyone at peak performance, but we can spare. Commander AC, how many would it take to skeleton crew run this ship?
I provide you a number. I would recommend keeping at least one of the senior officers.
Okay.
And so add a character so that you know what I mean by this. If you take Chironolin, that complication range that you have goes completely away.
I'll volunteer to take the drug.
Okay.
Thing is,
Well, Zygen's not affected by the radiation, as far as we know, correct?
Yeah, she's doing fine. She's
Zygen-
really fine.
So that is a senior officer who can remain.
Is she qualified is she command qualified?
She is not lieutenant commander, but she is a lieutenant, if I'm remembering her sheet correctly.
We have.
So.
I believe we did put her in the center chair for a little bit earlier.
She basically takes the chair whenever you guys are like down on the planet. She basically performs the Sulu or the Chekhov position on the bridge.
Yeah.
Awesome. That means I get to take the drug.
All right. Looks like the command staff will be taking it. Zygen, if anything is to befall us, you are to take command of the ship.
Aye, sir. I will do my best. But let us hope it doesn't come to that.
I hope it won't come to it. But in case it does, I believe you can do it, Lieutenant.
All right. Drugs for everybody.
So we have a quick little montage where Ricky happily injects each of you with Chironolin, and yeah, the effects are almost instantaneous. You feel more alert, you feel more in control of your body. You're not really happy per se, but you're definitely feeling a lot better than you were, so take that as you will. What I will say, though, is I do need everybody to roll me a challenge dice, please. And if you roll an effect, there is a side effect. And let me see.
I didn't roll an effect this time.
All right, so no side effect for the captain or for AC. Okay, yeah, you guys are fine. No side effects.
Hooray.
Yeah.
And I'll tell Ricky to make sure that you document everything going on as part of the trial.
He holds up 3 more data pads. On it, sir.
Excellent. Because I'm sure I'll need to pass this on to Starfleet Medical.
I've actually got another pad here, sir, about everything that Starfleet Medical probably wants.
Oh, excellent.
Ensign, how did you end up on the piloting track?
I don't know. I've flown like remote controlled planes as a kid, and I just thought it was really cool. And I always wanted to be like a a jet pilot, and since jets aren't really a thing anymore, the closest thing was starships.
Might have missed your calling.
Maybe. Oh no, you know what I realize is the worst part of all this? Dr. Early's not going to believe any of it.
I'm sure we can convince him.
Internal ship monitoring. There's video evidence.
And all those pads. Lord knows I didn't write them.
True enough. He'll also have the word
All
of
right.
the senior staff. So
Okay. Well, I guess I'll be here in sick bay if anybody gets hurt.
Well, then again, it could be a side effect of the drug. We have no idea what he really put out.
No comments, sir.
I'm not looking.
AC, why is your eyebrow twitching?
Captain made some coffee.
I did. Is it not up to Earth standard?
It's a little more potent than Earth standard.
Oh, isn't more potent more helpful?
It is very helpful.
Oh, good. Would you like some more?
I'm good. I'm good right now.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So let's do this series of tasks here to get you out of the storm. All right, so the first thing that's going to need to happen is whoever is doing the piloting role is going to have to make me a difficulty of 3, daring and con. And you can have the ship assist you with either sensor con, or engines con. Either's fine. And what I would tell you is that if you fail or roll complications on this, it will complicate matters for the next rolls, which is the security tactical role and the engineering roles required. So just sort of keep that in mind.
Okay. Difficulty of 3.
Correct.
Ship's definitely going to assist. I would like to roll 3 dice at least.
Okay, so at least 1 momentum.
And I got the ship up.
I am half tempted to use another one to get another die just because I've been rolling so badly. So would that be another momentum and a threat?
Yeah, it would be a momentum and a threat.
Okay. So then that goes up to 4 dice. Would astronavigation as a focus help in this instance?
It would. It definitely would.
Okay. And I would actually like to use a determination.
Okay, give you 2 free successes.
And I'm going to use my value. I have to prove myself as a captain.
Perfect moment to use this value, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's 8 successes. So with a complication. So yeah, that brings you up to, I can count in my head, 5 momentum, if I can count properly. And yeah, to say that you get the Drake dancing is a bit of an understatement. You put on a clinic where, you know, kind of like how Ricky apparently never found his true calling of medicine. You could probably teach Red Squad back at the academy if you pick up what I'm putting down. It's one of those things where, you know, those of you that are watching the captain work, you're kind of not quite in awe, but you're kind of like, whoa, we should let the captain fly more often, kind of a thing. And the good news is that since you succeeded so well, that Commander Cole, as you come up next to do your blasting of rocks and debris out of the way, your difficulty is actually going to come down from a 4 down to just a 2 on this one. However, the complication is going to be that your complication range will increase to a 16 to 20. And that's going to be representative of the fact that the phase cannons are starting to shear a little bit based on the way the captain is flying.
So I only need 2 successes.
Correct. On a control security on your part, and the ship will assist you with a weapon security.
Or I could just pop my one remaining determination.
Then you would have to not roll complications, yes.
Okay, so it would still be a roll. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. Let's go with, don't pop the determination. Use 3 momentum for 2 more dice to give me a total of 4 dice.
Okay.
Complication range is still the same.
Yep.
There we go.
You guys are doing fine. That's 5 successes, meaning you get your 3 momentum right back. And yeah, so again, as we see the Drake sort of nimbly dipping and bobbing and weaving around the debris and rocks that are in the neutronic storm, we see every once in a while a bit of phaser blast from the phaser banks and the phase cannons rotating and firing and blowing out hazardous chunks as we go. And in fact, again, since Captain and Commander Cole, you guys have done so well, there's no damage to repair for AC. In fact, you guys emerge at the end of day 5. You emerge from the trailing edge of the storm, and as the full lights of the ship kind of come back on, and you kind of look at a porthole, you would see the neutronic storm quickly dispersing into the distance as it continues traveling at warp speeds away from you.
I'm gonna kind of lean back from the helm. We made it.
I thought Zygen said there were only a few mines and
I'm gonna
debris.
press the comm panel on the helm control. Thalen to AC. Damage report.
No significant damage, sir. Ship's as shipshape as she can be,
Oh,
given
that
the
is
circumstances.
excellent news. I was sure that I would have hit something.
Well done flying, sir.
Thank you. That drug must have helped.
It did.
I haven't done any flying like that since a while.
I'll have to make sure we mark that down as one of the possible side effects.
Increased focus.
Extreme competence.
That's not a bad side effect.
As you all make the jokes, Lieutenant Zygen actually speaks up and says, Sir, I have been able to coordinate and figure out where we are. I guess good news, bad news.
Okay.
I like this game.
So the good news is that I know where we are and I know how to get us home. But the bad
that
news
is
is the straight line isn't going to work. There is a chunk of Tholian space in our way.
Always the Tholians.
If we go through the Tholian space, we could get home in 2 months. If we have to go around the Tholian space, which I would highly advise, we're looking at more like 4.
The last thing that we need to do is to anger the Tholians in the state that we're in.
Agreed. And we still don't know the total effects of the drug.
Right.
Is there anybody nearby?
Yeah. Zygen, are there any friendlies?
Well, I am seeing in the computer records that apparently a Showa station was being constructed about 2 months away, accounting for going around Tholian space. So, I mean, if what I see in the computer base is correct, we would arrive right as the station, quote-unquote, finishes.
That would probably be our best bet. One, it's a starbase, and we can get some hull repair and all the other science lab damage fixed. And then we can also, if necessary, bring anyone for intensive starbase medical care if we still need that at the end of this run. And then we can get further analysis of how this drug works in starbase level medical facilities.
Sir, before we set off, if our current tactical situation is all right, I'd like to get some crew on the hull to shore up the interior repairs and definitely take a look at the phase cannon traversal.
Yeah, that I agree.
I don't want anybody in the hull at warp, sir.
No. Let's keep it at. I think the shearing forces shouldn't be too strong at 1/4 impulse power. Or would you rather a full stop?
I'd prefer a full stop. It gives the. Yes, we can work rocking and rolling, but I'd rather.
Okay.
I'd rather do it not.
All right. I will keep us not quite station keeping. I'll give us a little bit of inertia, so we're just kind of coasting, but
thank you, sir.
Nothing quick, so that
we'll make it as fast as we can.
Yeah, so that we have an ensign. Lose magnetic boots. We don't lose them.
Ricky doesn't go on the hull.
No, he needs to stay in sick bay.
Hey, Doc, isn't Doc going to be thrilled with that one?
And I think that being the first face he sees when he wakes up.
That's actually how I was going to end the session, where we go to sick bay, and I hope Dr. Nemesis won't mind me playing Dr. Illyfoot, but Dr. Illy, kind of wakes me and goes, "Oh, well, what in tarnation? Ensign Ricky, what the hell are you doing in my chair? You don't belong in there. Get the hell out of sick bay. I don't want you in here. Get the hell out of here." And Ricky kind of collects his pen and says, "Yes, sir, of course, right away, sir." And he scampers out, and Dr. Illy kind of looks himself around and goes, "Well, somebody's been treating me. Whoever did it's a very skilled doctor. Now, what do I need to do? What is this drug here? Hyronolin? Never heard of it." And our final scene is the good doctor going through and trying to figure out what the hell this new drug is. But yeah, that's where we'll end today's session. And quick few notes. Hyronolin, if you didn't already know, Hyronolin is the radiation sickness treatment for Starfleet personnel. There was no data on when it was created, so I thought, well, Ricky's doing so well, why not? So now it's ELH canon that Ricky makes Hyronolin, so have fun with that fact. But yeah. Awesome. All right, well, this is where we're going to say goodbye to YouTube, but Twitch stick around because we're going to raid somebody, but YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.